Still looking at me.
What's up, my gang? It's Mighty Adventure, the multitasker, and this is a review video of Carmen Sandiego from Netflix. Now, originally I did try to complete a video of last night, and of course, let's just say that I was not happy that making a video of it, that basically that limited of the free space. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try my best to give the most highlighted moments from season 1, because yes, that the first season that only run with 9 episodes, and the truth is it was pretty decent. So it's been a while that we haven't or not even mention of the name Carmen Sandiego, unlike it back in the early 90s, because people who remember Carmen Sandiego was the title Where in the Earth is Carmen Sandiego? That was back in 1994. That was originally aired on Fox Kids, and there was the first of a TV game show, the title Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Please don't make me say it. I don't want to say it. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? There. You're happy? Because let me tell you about that show. From the start of the opening, it's just you have 4 musicians doing the chorus, and that song there has been stuck into my head of my early years when I was a kid. So please, for the love of God, don't bring the lyrics or even have the link of the opening. I really don't want it to relive that, because that's been I know it's considered as a throwback, but to me it's just the song that will never go away. Okay, so please don't try to do that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a humor to you, but I just don't want to, okay? But anyways, so this has been a long time, and for those who remember her from the 90s, then this is a comeback. So considering actually get to see the trailer, this was treated as a reboot that's completely different from the other 2 shows, because the fact that leaves you of the biggest question is, who is Carmen Sandiego? Where is she from? How old is she? Or in the fact, is that really her name? That leads to something about who is she really? And so this is where we begin off with the first 2 episodes that would basically that brings the origin episodes which is called Becoming of Carmen Sandiego. So after seeing this, and of course now it makes a little sense, but that's what it's all about, the leaving of a mystery about this main protagonist character of the series, because the way that she explains that she has no memory of where is she from. All that she remembers is that she was raised in a small island in Argentina, and being raised at an academy school of thieves known as FILE. And what it stands for: Valuable Import Luxury Exports. Yeah, it's kind of lame what it stands for, but that's how it goes. And she was basically learned by little of being as a crafty and stealth, and mostly being as a thief. In fact, they don't even know her name. They only refer to her as Black Sheep. And when you hear that name, it's basically simply as a mischievous, deceptive, an unwanted family member. That's basically what it's known for, and that's basically what she is called for, Black Sheep. and with the file, you have 5 faculty members that runs of the school. You have Professor Maelstrom, who's head of the faculty that basically that teaches of the psychological and manipulation. You have Coach Brunt, who's known for combat and physical training. Dr. Bedlam, she's a profession in being as a smart inventor, also teaches of science and technology. Shadow Sun, whose profession for of stealth and thievery when it comes with skills. And last but not least, Countless Cleo, who she's known for teaching of culture and class. That's basically what these 5s are for. But you always got to have a question. Is that what they are mostly known for? That's right there, and it leads to become what is known to be as deceptive. And so basically, Black Sheep was ready to wanted to become a professional thief. They were intrigued that they want this to be ready, especially to Brunt, because she was the one who raised Black Sheep when she was young, and calling Coach as Mama Bear, which kind of cute in that way, because she basically has her back. But Shadow Sun wasn't convinced that she's ready, and so for that, the class session begins through training and learning of the ways of a thief and to become as a professional. That's what it's all about, and also being teamed up with other associate names called Crackle, Tigress, El Toro, La Chevere, and also Mind Bomb. So with all the training from different classes, especially to that one event that is basically to try to steal the $1 bill from Shadow Sun, Tigress was successful, and so is with everybody else except Black Sheep. And the worst part about it, that she didn't make the cut. She demanded that she wanted to go have a redo, and Shadow Sun wasn't going to give it to her. And she kind of suspected that he basically half his entire coat pocket was completely empty from the beginning, and that pushed her to the very limit, to the core, that she wasn't going to have it anymore, and that she was determined to prove herself that she deserved to be out in the world. Because when it comes to the File Academy, their basic rules are always protect your face and no contact to the outside world. Before that, everything else happened. In her early days, when she was basically just being as a prankster, she also stole of a few other things, like a portable phone that basically has unlimited access, and got a message of an image, or I'm sorry, an icon that's of a shape of a white hat. And the white hat happens to be a pro hacker from Niagara Falls that's basically just has all the access to that without getting caught. And that's pretty skillful for a little kid. So afterwards, they were assigned to a mission at the Morocco, and Black Sheep just snuck into the jet, and basically that she basically just ruined of the mission, and that's where shit just went escalated. The finding out that this whole stealth mission was more than that. In the terms of no witnesses, that basically means kill the witness, and that compromised the mission. They were forced to retreat back with the help of the cleaners, and Black Sheep was punished, and so now she's being watched by other members and staffs, in which that was really become a letdown. And by the way, the VILE really actually stands for Villain International League of Evil. So honestly, looking back to it, I think that there was the existence of the word vile that actually did exist back in the previous of the cartoon show that I mentioned of from 1994. So you think that with Black Sheep would just simply that would just make her feel alone, which that she is. But all that was simply biding time to take every bit of a time that she need for her to escape the island once and for all. And the ticket was the helicopter. I'm sorry, was the boat that comes out every now and then, and that the files bookkeeper and the financial Mrs. Booker that brings in with the data frame that comes in to give out the information to the computer mainframe. And this was the only chance for her to get the data and steal it. But of course, the fact that the whole place is sealed up, no way out, unlike what she did, until she found a perfect disguise for her escape, and that was Mrs. Booker's red coat and the red hat. And it was a close shave, but it didn't take that long for her to finally get out of her before the time they realized that wasn't Mrs. Booker. So she finally escaped, and Shadowsun was could have got her, but the boat was a little bit too far, and all that leaves that basically he failed, and Black Sheep passed. And of course, now be able to recontact to the White Hat, which he goes by the name Player. And so basically, now she has to give a new name. And you want to know where where Carmen Sandiego really came from? That was based on of the clothing brand that she was wearing, and that basically she just simply called herself Carmen Sandiego. So that was the 2-part episode of Becoming, which you already know her today. So basically, the story is really, really fresh and original. Yes, it is a reboot, but it was a decent one. And also, not to mention that the art style of the animation is really, it's all I can say is it look amazing. It's just, it blends of the motion and the movements, and it kind of reminds me of the animation style of the Samurai Jack, which I love the most of it, and really ashamed that of course that was the last season, but it was a really good in-depth story. And that's basically how that renovance of this new show, because basically the true purpose about Carmen Sandiego is not just not to steal the most valuable objects, but basically it's all that is stealing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Basically, what it is basically that she's stealing from all the good stuff that the VILE has taken, and bringing it back bringing it back to the places that was stolen in the first place for the humanitarian causes. That was the whole purpose of dissolving of VILE's plans for a possible world domination and try to bring the goods back for the good cause, and just to shut Vile down for good. But of course, how could you have Carmen Sandiego with obstacles that's possibly in her way when you have two cops from the Interpol are basically being signed on the case to apprehend Miss Sandiego? You have Chase Daveneur from the Interpol of French, and you have Julia Regent from MI6, probably. That's just my thought, but it could be. And let me also say about Mr. Daveneur. His personality is quite familiar. A cop from the Interpol is on a case of trying to stop a professional thief. Not a rain, sleet, or snow that's going to stop him to catch his guy. I'm thinking about Inspector Sandiego from Lupin III. Yes, it's pretty obvious because Sandiego, Daveneur, they're the same. They're literally the same person, and I gotta say, it's just uncanny. So it's funny in the good way, and it's just that's probably what's so special about Chase, and pretty cool name, by the way. And Julia Regent, I mean, she's also a very quiet and also a very smart person, because when it comes to the Carmen Sandiego cases, she basically knows that there are something's amiss, that she only basically target of a certain places that basically she has a hidden agenda, which basically just to aim file. And one thing I did like about this new show, that basically we get a familiar of educational information about places from Indonesia to Sydney, Australia to San Francisco. It gives much information and backgrounds, just like in the 1994 series that was back in Fox Kids, and that's what's so special about the show, is giving out of all the information of the places that are around the world. So that makes it feel like this is 100% Carmen Sandiego show. That, because if it didn't, wouldn't be what it is today. So it was good. And of course, how else did we have with not just Vile, but guys in suits, that there's another organization that's basically is the peacekeeping type, known as Acme. And once again, another reference from the old cartoon shows, and also probably from the Acme, from the game show. And also, Acme stands for Agency to Classify, Monitor Evildoers. Honestly, I don't think it's not necessary to use the word evildoers. I mean, clearly, because if it's, I would say just leave the term evil, because it would have been more acceptable to say Agency to Classify, Monitor Evil. That right there would have been perfect. But I guess by the time when the production is run, and of course it was already too late. It was all said and done. So I would just leave it there personally. But other than that, and of course the head of the Acme run by, all you need to know is basically Chief. Yep. The same name of Chief from the game show. I can tell you that there are so many references that's based off from the old shows. And Mrs. Booker that I told you about, Cookie Booker, she's voiced by Rita Moreno, who happens to be the original voice of Carmen Sandiego from the cartoon show. Surprise, surprise, huh? Now that's what you call a reference, a good one. So basically, Devonor and Regent are now being recruited to Acme to continue their case of basically to monitor and to pursue Carmen Sandiego, which of course that leaving empty-handed, and throughout of so many good places in which that file is basically is just about had it with Black Sheep interfering. They sent an ex-student in Maelstrom's favorite pupil, Paper Star, who's basically she's psychotic, but she's very gifted of using ordinary paper to origami, but shuriken stars. Yikes! And that was she is crazy as hell. And I will say to this, things got really intense because by the time that, of course, when Carmen stole the Devonor's Acme badge, and of course the confrontation between the Paper Star and Carmen, and that which she did leave empty-handed, but she also recovered of the badge, and that Dr. Bellum had the decryption to figure out what the Acme stands for, and that now basically that she cracked the code. Now it was determined that the fact that Chase has something to do with the connection with Carmen Sandiego, and their plan was to abduct him, interrogate him, to get all the information of what does he know about Carmen. And Coach Brunt wanted to see to this personally, because the fact she raised Black Sheep when she was a child, and the fact that she betrayed and leave the island, she wanted to end her life. But actually it was Shadow Son wanted to do this alone. And now he has no choice but have to team up with her. So fast forward, that used that truth device to make Devonor to confess of what does he know about Miss Sandiego, and the more that he tries to struggle, the more the strengths of that device is going to make him the deterioration. And also, I failed to mention that Carmen didn't do it alone. Not with the player, but also with other members that tag along, Zach and Ivy. Now, Ivy is basically just being as a scout, and Zach is her wheelman, and a very professional too. So basically, they dressed up in the same red coat to try to lure out from Shadow Son and Brunt. And by the time Coach realized this whole thing was just a bait for the real Carmen to save Devonor, and it unexpected happened that Coach Brunt beat her to it and just sealed the door and wanted to take this matter herself. And there was a reason why she's been as the head faculty for combat and physical training, because she is without a doubt, she is being called as a big mama bear, because she is tough as hell. And no matter the gadgets that Carmen uses, it ain't gonna work. No, that's not gonna happen. And she just basically just pummeled her down, just straight up beat the living crap out of her, and poor Carmen was out of options. And the more that she tries to struggle her way out, the more it's just that will render her completely damaged. And Coach Brunt wanted to do a one last favor for old time's sake, is that she wanted to give her a hug. But it was a bear hug to death. And that was it was a surreal, intense moment right there, because when you hear the crackling of her bones started to almost to snap, this is something you would never expect that what's going to happen to a kid's TV show. No. This was the moment that she was about to die of a suffocation, but someone attacked Coach Brunt from behind. It was Shadow Son, and he was ready to. He was just about to pull the sheath out of his sword, and just it was a fraction of a moment that something cut, and basically he basically cut the lock from the hatch to the underground, and this was a big surprise that Shadow Son came here to save Carmen Sandiego to her escape. And by the time she was trying to save Daviner, the hollow pen got easy out of that loose out of the shirt pocket, and that accidentally clicked to open the activation of the hologram, and the chief just took a glare look at the Daviner down and saw Carmen Sandiego, and that made her speculate that she did something to him, and that immediately called out Agent Argent and notified of the authorities of the location, and the damage is already done. But the good news is that Daviner is not dead, but he is in a bad condition. So he has been taken to the hospital. So it hasn't been confirmed exactly how long he would be out. But one thing is certain for the chief, that she is definitely going to be on the dead on of a focus on pursuing Carmen Sandiego. It's just, but Argent is really not convinced that she would be capable of trying to harm her partner. And so that's basically that is, regardless, she has to follow orders. Elsewhere outside, it was very clear that it was Shadow Son was looking after her. So that leads to the question, was he the one that found Black Sheep when she was a child? That really brings it of a good question, because basically it was clear that Shadow Son was looking after her. And yes, he was the one that basically had his coat pockets completely empty. He did it on purpose because he was trying to protect her. Because if Carmen knew what the Vile's true intention, it would have been already too late for her. So basically, he knew that this was to be the chance that she was going to be leaving the island all the time. And the fact that he would have go with her, but obviously she just backed the boat up, and he didn't want to compromise his true intentions, not with the other faculty members, to be in the without seeing him what he was really doing. And so basically that he knows something about Carmen's true past. But unfortunately, he left. But he did give Carmen an unexpected gift, a data frame. And all that's left was to pursue on the next mission, and that's where season 1 ended, and that's it. I will say that was a very interesting story, and that leads to another but thrills, action, and most of all, mystery. Because we all, well, personally for me, now it all kind of makes sense of where she's from, but it's still unclear exactly what's her real name and where is she from. So hopefully that Netflix will renew of the second season, because I personally like to see exactly how far is the rabbit hole goes of who she really is. And I'm confident that it will happen, and rightfully so, because like I said, this is a big comeback for the most iconic professional thief of the franchise, and this probably it would be a good chance to have that. And yes, the Carmen Sandiego was voiced by Gina Rodriguez, a very talented actress, and I need to see Miss Bala. So I hopefully that it will come out on DVD, because I really need to see it. And also I also know that Professor Maelstrom is voiced by Liam O'Brien. I didn't realize it at first, but started to hear that click of the voice of his, it started to make sense. This is the same guy who's the voice of Red Skull from Avengers Assemble. Who would have thought, right? So that's it for the video. All I can say is that the season 1 was decent, and this was recommended from Collins Vincent. So he wanted me to watch the whole 9 episodes, and really it's not that bad. It's a really good for a good comeback of Miss Sandiego that's been, I really can't say how long it's been, since the 90s. So it's a really good comeback, of course with technology for the developing, and of course with the budget that, of course, the production of the show that came from Canada. So it was like I said, it was a good comeback. So it's really worth it. So I hope that season 2 is definitely going to happen, because I want to see more action and more places, because that's not only is also an action and a thrilling, but also educational of the places that we need to know exactly what's so popular. And hopefully for those who remember Carmen back in the 90s can relive and watch it with their kids, because the genre of the show is meant for the kids' TV, so it should be fair enough to sit back and just enjoy and watch exactly what is Carmen Sandiego is going to do next. So, with that said, I'm Mighty Avenger signing out. And if you are new to this channel, be sure to click and subscribe, and you get notification from yours truly, from reaction to review, gaming, and streaming, because this is all that I can do. Sure, I may not be perfect, but I just like to entertain you guys, because when it comes to comics, anime, movies, and games, we are one and the same. So I think I'm good, other than the fact my weekends suck. So I don't know about you, I'm gonna get a beer. So with that said, I'm Mighty Adventure signing out, but I will catch you on in the next video. So take care, guys.